Okay, subtracting integers. Guys, please make sure that before you watch this video, you watch adding integers. Okay, it's very important. You need to know how to add integers, meaning you need to know how to add positive and negative whole numbers before you learn to subtract positive and negative whole numbers. So if you have not watched the adding integers video, please make sure to do that first before proceeding with this one. All right, let's start with what you already know. You know easy numbers as 8 minus 3. What is the answer? 5. Now, think about the number line, guys. Here, I have 8 minus 3. That means I'm starting here and I'm going back 3 units. Okay, so I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, and that's how you get 5. Easy stuff. You already know how to do this. I'm not going to, dwell on this for a long time. I just need to make a point. If you know how to subtract positive whole numbers, you should also know how to subtract integers. But you need to know that when you're subtracting, you're actually doing the opposite of subtraction. You're actually adding in a way, adding the opposite. Okay, so subtracting means adding the opposite. I can rewrite 8 minus 3 by saying 8 plus, because you're adding the opposite. Well, what's the opposite of positive 3? It would be negative 3, correct? Okay, so when you're subtracting integers, you're actually adding the opposite. I'm going to use this and get the same answer. I'm going to prove my answer now. Okay, that means I'm starting at 8, same number, and I'm adding a negative 3. Okay, when it's negative, I'm going to move to the left of the number line. I'm going to move to the left 3 digits. So let's begin. 1, 2, 3. My answer is positive 5. You still get the same answer, guys. So I'm going to repeat this so you can better understand as we subtract integers. When you're subtracting numbers, you're actually adding the opposite. Let me go ahead and give you a couple more examples. Let's say that we're doing 9 minus 4. Well, you already know that it equals 5, right? You trust me when I say that, and you already know that. So let's just prove this. 9 minus, you're going to take away 4. So you're going to move to the left of the number line. 1, 2, 3, 4. Where did you land? On 5. All right. So remember, subtracting means to add the opposite. I can still add, but just adding the opposite. Let me prove my point here. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to do 9, and I'm going to add the opposite. Well, let's look. What is the opposite of positive 4? Well, the opposite of positive 4 is negative 4. All right? So, I'm going to use the number line again. And in just a moment, I'll use the chips as we did in the adding integers videos. All right, so here's 9. I'm going to add, but this time I'm going to add what? 4 negatives. That means I'm going to move to the left of the number line. When it's negative, when we take away, we move to the left. All right, I'm going to move 4 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4. What is my answer? It is still 5. All right, I'm going to use the chips. Now remember, guys, the black represents positive 1. The red represents negative 1. Sorry. Let me rewrite that. It represents negative 1. Okay, so I have 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I have 9 positive, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 negatives. Remember 0 pairs? 0 pairs is when you have 1 positive and 1 negative. If you have $1 and then I take away your $1, you're going to get a 0. Okay, so that's how 0 pairs exist. Here we go. That's a 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair, 0 pair. What are you left with? Sorry, that one's not included. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're left with 5 positives. All right, let's do one more. Well, if I say what's 9 minus 10, some of you in elementary would have said, no, you can't do that. Yes, you can. If you have 9 and you take away 10, all that means is that you had $9, but you're still 1 short. So your answer is going to be negative 1. Now here we go. Let's prove it. 9 I'm going to take away 10. That means I'm going to move to the left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Where did you land? On a -1. Now remember, subtracting means to add the opposite. I can do this exact same problem by adding the opposite. Okay, so I'm going to write 9 plus, what's the opposite of positive 10? -10. All right, and it's going to work the same way. We're here at 9. I'm going to take away 10. I'm going to move to the left. Do you see how everything's still the same? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You still get the same answer, -1. All right, so to do this, anytime we're subtracting integers, we're going to add a line and change the sign. And this is what I mean. I'm going to rewrite the same problem, 9 minus 10. Okay, 9 minus 10. So, anytime we're subtracting integers, we're going to add a line. Do you see how I added the line? And I'm going to change the sign. It was a positive, now it's a negative. All right, don't worry, we're going to do a few more examples in just a moment. All right, let's do this one here. 12 minus 15. Again, we're not in elementary, we're in middle school. 12 minus 15, you obviously know you don't have enough. You're going to be short, right? If you do 12 take away 15, you're going to be short. You can do 12 minus 12, and that'll equal 0. But if you do 12 minus 15, you don't have enough. Well, by how much? Well, I'm short by $3, -3. All right, so let's do this using the add a line and change the sign. All right, so that's going to be my answer, but let's prove it. All right, here we go. All right, so here we're subtracting integers, and remember, subtracting is the same thing as adding the opposite. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the subtraction sign into an addition. All right, I'm going to turn it into addition. I'm going to add a line, and then I'm going to change the sign that follows it. It was a positive 15, now it's going to be a negative 15. Right, so now it looks like this, 12 plus -15. All right, remember the scoreboard? All right, so we're going to draw the scoreboard. Remember, positive always versus negative. Okay, here's my negative team versus the positive team. All right, sorry, let me go ahead and change the color. All right, negative versus positive. All right, remember the scoreboard, look at this right here. What operation does it look like? It looks like addition. You can only use the scoreboard with addition. So if my original problem looked like this, 12 minus 15, I can't do it because it's subtraction. I first need to make sure that my problem looks like an addition problem. Add a line, change the sign. All right, so let's go ahead and write down the points. My negative team, how much did they score? They scored 15. My positive team, how much did they score? They scored 12. All right, well, if I ask you which team won, you're going to say the negative team won. So let's go ahead and put our negative sign already. All right, the negative team won. Well, by how many points did they beat them? 15 to 12. They beat them by 3 points. If you subtract 15 minus 12, the answer is 3. So that's how much they beat them by. Now I'm going to prove this in a different way using the number line. All right, here I rewrote it, 12 minus 15. So we're going to start here at 12, and this is a minus sign. So when I'm going to take away, I'm going to move to the left of the number line. Okay. All right, let's move 15 units. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Remember, 12 minus 12 is 0. But you're going to take away 15. 13, 14, 15. Where do you land? You land at -3. Okay? Now remember, guys, the reason I'm showing you the number line is so you could actually see it with a visual. But on your test, on your quiz, you're not going to have the number line. You can draw it, but what happens when you get a number like 300 minus 458? Are you going to draw a number line that large? It's going to take time. It's much easier to use the scoreboard. So I'm going to say this again, guys. Anytime we're subtracting integers, we're going to do the opposite. We're going to add a line, change the sign. So when subtracting integers, we're going to add. All right, I hope that the earlier examples helped you understand it a little bit better. Make sure you rewind to watch it over again until you understand it. All right, let's move forward. Let's do a larger one. Let's do 836 minus 999. Now, if you look here, you have $836 and you're going to take away $999. Well, automatically here you should know I can't do that. Okay, I'm going to have a negative number. So we're going to add a line, change the sign. All right, now that we have it set up, we're going to do our scoreboard, because remember, the scoreboard looks like what operation? It looks like addition. That means I can only use it when I'm adding, and here I am adding. Therefore, I can use it. All right, let's go ahead and set up our teams. Negative versus positive team. Always, always. All right, the positive, how much did they score? They scored 836 points. The negatives, how much did they score? They scored 999 points. If I was to ask you which team won, the negatives or the positives, what would you say? Well, the negatives, they have more points. So automatically you should write a negative sign because it's a negative. They won. Well, by how many points? Let's do the subtraction. 999 minus 836. That's going to be a 3, a 6, and a 1. So they beat them, the negative team won, by 163 points. All right, is it getting easier? I hope so. Let's move on to a few more examples. All right, here I have negative 34 minus 58. All right, I'm going to, being that we're subtracting integers, I'm going to add a line, change the sign. So I'm going to add a line to make it addition, and I'm going to change the sign that follows it. It was a positive 58. Look at that number. It was a positive 58, but now I'm going to change it to a negative 58. All right, I'm going to use my scoreboard. Remember, scoreboard can only be used when you're dealing with addition. That's why it looks like an addition sign. Okay? All right, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to write my teams, negative team versus the positive team. All right, let's see. How much did the negative team score? They scored 34 points. And then, oh look, here's another negative. They also scored 58 points. Do you see any positive numbers here anywhere? No. How many points do you see for the positive team? I don't see any. There's 0. All right, so what we're going to do, we're going to add our total points. Okay. This is 12. 8 plus 4 is 12. 5 plus 3 is 8 plus 1. It's 9. And what was the total points for the positive team? 0. All right, so here we're looking at the final score. Okay, 92 and 0. Well, which team won? The negatives, duh. So here I'm going to put my negative sign because they won. By how many points? That's too easy. 92 take away 0. Well, they beat them by 92 points. They beat them big time. Too easy. I hope that this is helping you a little bit. Let's do another example. All right, here I have negative 16 minus negative 49. I'm going to add a line to make it addition. Now that I have my addition, I'm going to write my scoreboard. I'm going to add a line and change the sign. Now this time, it already had a negative, right? It was a negative 49, but I'm going to change the sign. Instead of a negative, it's going to be a positive. All right? So I'm going to write negative team versus positive team. All right, well, let's check. How much did the negative score? They scored 16. How much did the positive score? Remember, we changed it. It was a negative. but we changed the sign. It turned into a positive. Well, which team won? The positive team won, right? So my answer is going to be positive. I know that. Well, by how many points did they beat them? Well, let's check. 49 minus 16. 9 minus 6 is 3. 4 minus 1 is 3. Well, the positive won by 33 points. All right. I know that this one seemed a little bit weird, a little bit odd. So let's do another one like this. Here we go. I went ahead and gave you small digits. Make sure that you try it using paper pencil. And you have here 6 questions. Now I'm going to rewrite number 6 because it looks pretty weird. I'm going to rewrite number 6 right over here. And what it says is -8 minus -4. Okay, that way you can see it better. All right, guys, please give these 6 problems a shot and I will provide you with the answers. Go ahead and put the video on pause, please. Here we go. +8 plus, -5. Add a line, change the sign. It was a +5, now it's a negative. If I use the scoreboard, positive versus negative, the positive team scored 8, the negative team scored 5. Which team won? The positive. By how many points? 8 minus 5 would be 3. So on number 1, okay, and guys, I'm using red throughout the rest of the questions because you can't see black. Number 1, your answer is a +3. Okay, I hope you did good on this one. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2 says -4 minus 2. I'm going to add a line, change the sign. It was a +2, now it's a -2. All right, let's do the scoreboard, positive versus negative. Do you have any positive numbers? This is a negative and this is a negative. So that means you have 0 positive. The negative scored 4 points and then here they scored 2 points. So altogether you have 6 negatives and 0 positives. Which team won? The negative. By how many points? Well, 6 minus 0 is 0. I'm sorry, 6. Why did I do that? 6 minus 0 is 6. Remember, it was a negative. Do not forget your sign. So for number 2, your answer would be -6. All right, let's move on to number 3. Here I have 7 minus -5. I'm going to add a line, change the sign. It was a -5, now it's a +5. So I'm going to do the scoreboard, negative versus positive. Okay, I have a positive here, that's 7. This used to be a negative, but now it's a positive. Do I have any negatives? No, I have 0 negatives. Let's add up our total points. Here I have 12 points, here I have 0. Which team won? The positive. So my answer is going to be positive. By how many points? 12 minus 0 is 12. So here, your answer is a +12. All right, number 3 is +12. All right, now for the next ones, I'm just going to provide you with the answer. I'm only going to show you 4 and 5 and 6. I'm just going to provide you with the answer. Number 4 reads like this. It says -3 minus -5 times 4. You know what? I am so sorry. Please go ahead and skip number 3. We're going to get to multiplication later. Okay, I apologize about this one. We'll get to that one later. All right, here are the answers for number 5 and 6. Number 5, the answer is 16, and number 6, your answer is -4. For any questions, please make sure you bring that paper to class tomorrow and raise your hand. I will be more than happy to help you out with it. Alright guys, I hope that this video helped you understand how to subtract integers. Don't forget, I'm going to say this again, subtracting means to add the opposite. Okay? And to do that, we're going to add a line, change the sign. I'm going to give you the example, a different example, but similar to what I did earlier. If you have 9 minus 4, you know your answer is 5. Now, I'm going to still do the same problem, but when I'm subtracting, I'm going to add the opposite. So I'm going to have 9 instead of subtraction. I'm going to add 9 plus, and I'm going to add the opposite. It was a positive 4, and I'm turning it into a negative 4. I'm going to still get the same answer. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 positives, 4 negatives. 1, 2, 3, 4. 0 pairs. 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you left with? You're left with 5, and is it positive or negative? It's positive. So please know that when we're subtracting integers, and anytime you're changing it into addition, you're still subtracting, all right? But it's just way easier to turn it into addition by adding the opposite. All right, I hope you have a great day, and I'll be happy to hear from you tomorrow. Thanks.